Hi, I'm Faina Rudshteyn, and you're watching the Graduate Spotlight at Cinema Makeup School. I chose to enroll into cinema makeup school because when I was doing my research as to what is the best makeup school in the country for special effects, cinema makeup school kept popping up everywhere, and I would see the work that all the students would do, and then every project that students and graduates would work on. I'm like, I need to get myself in there somehow. This is the school for me. And I just made the jump from across the country and came here. After all these years, I am really happy that I did enroll into cinema makeup school. I feel like they elevated my artistry to the next level. I was originally self-taught in special effects, but there's only so much you can do with scar wax and latex and stuff like that. I wanted to learn the big stuff. I wanted to learn how to sculpt. I wanted to learn how to make prosthetics from scratch. I wanted to have the most coolest, seamless blends on my characters and just bring textures to life and just everything there was to learn. I needed to know it, and I don't think I could have done it without cinema makeup school, because when I do research, I take it seriously, and it was literally the #1 school in this country for special effects. So where else am I gonna go? Film and television, I was just always looking at all my favorite movies, and then I would see all these crazy makeups in them and all these characters, and I'm like, how do they do that? I want to know, it's someone's job. That would be my dream job, is to just create cool characters for films. I didn't know how that would be attainable, so when I finally started doing research, I'm like, okay, these are the basics that I need to learn. And then there was this competition show that I would always see on TV where people would create these monsters and characters, and I had to show my parents this is a real career, this is an art form, this is not just somebody working at a counter, Finally, I got my parents on board with it, and I was able to move across the country and take the classes that I needed. I kind of love a little bit of everything, and I know a lot of artists like to focus on just one thing and get really good at it, but I started out as a beauty artist, and I will always have a love for beauty, but I also have a different side to me. I love horror, I love gore, I love making things bloody, I like scaring people. I just love getting reactions out of people, and I feel like if people have a big reaction when they look at my artwork, I did my job, and I did it well. So I even like to add some of my beauty elements into my horror characters, because I love for them to have a really clean, finished, polished look, because then people are looking, they're like, whoa, this looks so real. Where is the fake part of it? Where are the bad edges? Where is the bad paint job? So I just kind of put perfection on everything that I do. On my very first day of prosthetics class, I was sitting in the classroom, and then I didn't know who my instructor was going to be, and it ended up being Maxwell. And at that time, I was just so excited and inspired by the show Face Off, and he was a previous contestant on it. I'm like, oh my God, are these the type of instructors that I'm going to get at the school? People that I legit watched on television and look up to. I just got to pick his brain about everything and learn so much from him, and he was just so nice and very knowledgeable. So I just had an amazing first class experience with prosthetics, and then as I progressed into other courses in the school, it just kept getting better and better. Artists whose work has been inspirational to me over the years. I love, from the beauty world, I love Alex Box's style. She's phenomenal and so creative. From special effects, I adore Joel Harlow's work, and Nick Dudman. He's honestly, when I was a little kid, one of the first bodies of work that inspired me, because I'm just the biggest Harry Potter nerd, and he just created the coolest stuff in Harry Potter back before CGI was really a huge thing. Everything was done in practical, and practical is I love practical makeup because it makes you believe it's real, because you can always tell when things are a little more digital, but to be able to create that without computers is just something phenomenal. work on a lot of music videos, some with independent artists, some with like well-known celebrities, which is cool. I work on a lot of indie projects right now for film and television, only because I'm not in the union yet, but I'm working towards getting there, which is a hard road and a hard hurdle to overcome. But as long as you keep pushing, like I know I'm gonna get there. I'm almost there. So a feature film I got to do last year was actually also with a previous CMS student who department headed that project. She's phenomenal. Her name is Olga Tamovetska, and she's phenomenal. I love working with her. So she was the department head on the feature The Latin from Manhattan, which should be coming out. I'm not sure when, but soon I hope, because I'm excited. It was such an amazing casting crew that I got to work with, and the actors were so sweet, so phenomenal. Just watching them bring our work to life was fantastic. And working with a previous CMS student was also super humbling and phenomenal. Like, it just shows that like after the school, like if you're passionate and keep pushing and work hard at things, like we all like can share the wealth and like work together. And it's so much fun to see like your friends from school like also doing well and working. Being a makeup artist, it's a huge commitment and it's not an easy road. You're not gonna straight out of school be making a lot of money. But if you are passionate about it and are very serious, like you will make this career happen, and it definitely starts from your education. A lot of these artists on YouTube do their own makeup and they're the only person sitting in their chair. So over the years, of course, they've perfected what they're doing on themselves. It's a completely different ballgame when you're working on other people, other skin tones, other like hair color, eye color. All of these factors come into play, like bone structures. You need to know how to literally do anything and anybody that's in your chair, like in that moment, and you can't like panic. You have to like be able to problem solve. You need to be able to learn how to work with different skin textures, skin issues, just a little bit of everything, and that education is going to make all the difference. So the right school also is what will help you elevate your artistry. My attention to detail that I learned from like working on all these cool characters and concepts, like I always bounced off all my ideas off of my instructors, and they always would give me real advice. Like I didn't need someone to sugarcoat things for me and tell me like, oh, this is great, this is perfect, just to like boost my confidence. I didn't need that. I needed my instructors to be very real with me and straightforward. Like if something's bad, something could be done better, I needed to know how. Them pushing me to do better, like they would be like, yeah, this is great, but you know, like you could do this, this, and this to elevate this, and it's gonna look a lot better. And always think about what things are gonna look like on camera. To the naked eye, it could look fantastic, and on camera, your work could be completely crushed because the color is off, the lighting. You have to always think about lighting. A fun trick is just to like change like lighting options on your cell phone, like to see what it looks like in black and white, see what it looks like with vibrant lighting, with cool lighting, with warm. Always try to like sneak over to the lighting department on set and be like, what kind of lights are you using? What are we doing here? So that way I'm prepared in advance and don't have to stumble and look silly in front of the director and producers. So one of my really amazing close friends is Andrew Friedman. He actually won my season of Face Off, season 12 winner, and well deserved. He was just phenomenal. And being on that show with him, I just got to learn so much from him, and it's been incredible. He ended up hiring me to work for his amazing, huge SFX shop, Immortal Masks. And what's funny is when I was auditioning for the show and practicing my sculpting, I always would reference to a bunch of Immortal masks I would see on his website, and I would try to replicate them and sculpt them and like make little maquettes of them because I was just so inspired by his style of sculpting. I was working at his effects shop. I always would like pester him like, yo, you need to make some kind of like Goblin type of character. I love Harry Potter. We need to do something. So at some point he ended up sculpting a Goblin that really like to me resembled like a bunch of different Goblins from the movies. I worked in the seaming and patching department for Immortal, but I'm a painter at heart. I always loved painting. So once I started transitioning into the painting department, my very first mask that I got to seam, patch, and paint was the Goblin mask. So it just holds such a like special place in my heart, and I got to keep the mask. A few years back, I got to work with my good friend Anthony Kozar, who was season 4 winner of Face Off. He was department heading a really cool music video, and he did not tell me who was the artist. And he had a really big team of effects artists, previous Face Off contestants, and even a previous CMS alumni, Wen Zhang, and she's phenomenal. I love working with her. Once I finally got the call sheet, it was a Chris Brown music video, so I kind of lost it. I'm like, oh my God, that was like one of my first big celebrity music videos that I got to work on. We got to do all these like cool vampires and goblins and monsters, ogres, just, zombies, and there were so many like cool cameos from all these rappers that I grew up listening to. So it was just such a fun day. So I got to work with a really cool production company called Crypt TV, and I got to work on a bunch of different projects with them. One in particular that's my favorite is Miss Annity. The director of that was just so awesome, and he was so much fun and really gave the makeup team creative freedom, which was great. And I was the beauty makeup department head, but what's cool with Crypt TV, because they know I have the special effects background, I kind of get to dip my toe into both sides. I get to be on special effects and on beauty. But for that one specifically, I was mainly beauty, and my good friend Nelson Cooper was the main guy for special effects, and he created a really cool silicone mask that was just incredible, and he would always bounce his ideas off of me because it was a female character, so there had to be some femininity to the character, so we always collaborate on things together. So one of my favorite makeups that I got to come up with, my siren, out of plaster bandages, I created a corset as like the costume piece, because for certain conventions, especially in the United States, you're not allowed to really like reveal like on the feminine body like the nipple area, so you have to find creative ways to block out certain body parts. And then I got to do a cool headpiece for her. So it literally showcased all my skills in one. It showcased my beauty, my body paint, and my special effects, just to prove that you can fuse all 3 elements together and have a phenomenal character that even like the hardcore creepy SFX guys are gonna like, that are all about horror. Like special effects is always like such a horror thing. Like I wanted to show like it doesn't just have to be horror, it could be beautiful as well. Everybody at Monsterpalooza were just in awe from it, and even I had Rick Baker give me a compliment on that, and he's just been such an idol of mine, and he's just such a huge name in special effects that like getting a compliment from him is everything, and like anyone that's in makeup knows who he is, so it's a big deal to get a positive review from Mr. Rick Baker. I just love what I do so much, and it doesn't feel like work, and I feel like that's the most important thing, because when I was in business, like I didn't hate it, but I wasn't passionate about it, and it was just too stressful, and I just didn't love what I was doing. So now it doesn't feel like I'm working. I'm surrounded by cool people, have the most awesome conversations, and at the same time I get to work with my hands and create art that inspires people and makes other people look up to me. It makes my audience like just be in awe and wowed by my work, and it's just so fulfilling.